Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ross Patterson Revolution! Brought to you by GhostBed.com. Yeah, Jabes.
Word up.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
This is the time where we give thanks to me. You know?
Okay.
Just me.
All right.
And only me.
And for what?
Just being a father figure, a mentor, a great husband.
Sure.
A very generous lover. Some would say too generous. And just a figurehead for the state as a whole. That's Texas and North Carolina this year.
Right. Right.
I'm a lot of things to a lot of people. And I think that you need to give thanks to me.
This is my life. Don't be jealous, ladies. Don't be jealous. Who's the lucky lady? Me, right? So I do thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
I thank you for your many things.
You're welcome.
That you do and don't do.
Nah,
you
you're
know what
welcome.
I mean? I'm thankful for things you don't do as well.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean?
No, I don't. I don't actually on that. What don't I do that you're thankful for?
I don't know.
We lost to OG today, James. Look, I know this is the holidays. I know we're about to hit it. Maybe quit it. We'll see. Who knows? Who knows what you're doing?
You're about to hit it and quit it with Thanksgiving.
Maybe. I'm about to full insert that turkey, but whatevs.
Yeah.
But we lost a legend today, a legend of the game.
And by game, you mean partying game, but go ahead.
Partying game, yeah. Well, life game. I mean, he was great. He was one of the very best athletes of all time. But on this show, you and I, perhaps, this year's gone on for 20 years, so
yes.
I don't know if it was this year or if it was last year. When you and I watched the Maradona doc on HBO.
Had to be last year, right?
I don't know. I don't know anymore.
Okay, because here's how I think of it, right? Because March is very close to January, right?
Yeah. It's in the neighborhood, 60 days off or so. Sure.
Right.
Sure.
But anything before that was right?
Yeah.
Nothing really big happened before March, and then something happened in March that has turned everything into
a nightmare
and a shit show. So for me, I'm like, well, it wasn't during that.
Right,
and it couldn't have been in that 60 days.
No.
So blammo.
No.
That puts you at last year.
Yeah. Whenever it was. What I'll say is this. We watched the Maradona doc, and I have never seen a human being do that much cocaine in my entire life. The cocaina, that white panty grease.
Sure.
That I was impressed by it, obviously. And the fact that he was able to just hop on a shitty treadmill from 1980 and then make himself back into shape and then play on all these club teams and still be a legend for that many years was crazy.
Sure.
Obviously got wrapped up in the Italy thing when they swapped teams and they popped him on some tax evasion, drug charges, yada, yada, yada. He's been doing drugs for years at this point. And again, him doing cocaine, victimless crime.
Right.
He's the only victim. Now, he died from a heart attack today at the age of 60, so,
Whoopsie daisy.
Whoopsie ding dongs.
Yeah.
His
whole team didn't die because of it. You know what I'm saying? It's
like victimless crime. No need for him to go to jail or be charged or whatever.
Sure.
But the Gatortails this guy was doing were just legendary. All the rumors say that he was the very best to do cocaine of all time. And I don't know if that's true or not.
Right.
But I would have to think it is. Can we get a shot of this animal up here? Not the one that's all blurry, obviously, but just show him with that younger chick down there in that right-hand corner. Is that up on the screen? No. There we go.
He was everything. thing to every.
Look at how, can you see how sweaty his face is with this girl? Is that up on the screen? Just give me a thumbs up. There we go. That girl at the bottom there, that perfectly sums up what he is, right?
Yeah.
Sweaty. Who knows who this girl is?
Right.
Who knows where he is?
I know she's in a tight baby shirt.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Bedazzled.
Because that probably just hit Venezuela at that time.
Specific.
They're
Yeah.
getting brands real late down there, which is fine, right? But dude, just doing coke, jumping over the wall, screaming during the World Cup, all of it. Very best cocaine legend. Soccer player, yes, he was great. But I'm more impressed with the amount of cocaine he was able to do.
Right.
And then compete at a high level, which is phenomenal to me. So we lost to Gatortail King today, Jabes.
We really did.
And all this guy loved to do, like, yeah, there's another picture of him. All this guy loved to do was eat and do cocaine, and then he would get in shape to play soccer. And when he did, he was one of the very best. But he was kind of overweight when he played soccer, and he was still the best. Like,
right.
It was crazy.
Yeah, coke is awesome.
When somebody dies this close to Thanksgiving, the greatest eating and then drug-fueled holiday of all time, like, it makes me sad.
It is. It is sad.
So, no big deal.
Yeah, I mean,
No big deal, I guess.
no big deal, I guess. But gosh, how sad.
He would have loved this. I see with this, I would like to see people die like right after Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, because then you could be like, man.
a lot of football on Saturdays. You know, like Auburn, Alabama is on there. Like, just die on the Sunday.
Do you think he was into American football?
No. But I'm saying anybody else in general, right?
Sure.
Let's just say your name isn't Maradona at this point, and you're just out living in the world. If a relative dies, it's just, come on, man. Let's make it on a Sunday after this weekend, you know?
Right.
Eat as much as you can. Get as stuffed as you want. Keep drinking for those Friday games and then the Saturday games, and then kick out on Sunday, maybe Monday morning. So you
Right.
don't have to go back to work. Right?
Yeah.
So like I'll rephrase that. Let's hope for a Monday morning death, maybe around
I would go Sunday night.
4 to 6 a.m. Well, there's a Sunday night game usually, so let them go.
I mean, in your sleep.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So if you kick out around 4 to 6 a.m., that way your partner or whoever's around you, roommate-wise, they don't have to deal with that and be like, oh my God, my whatever died, and then now I don't have to go to work on Monday. Boom, boom. You just kick that into a 6-day holiday for yourself, So that's probably the way to go out.
Do you want to die in your sleep?
Me? Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Is that like your choice?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to die in like a car crash or something violent.
You don't want to know intellectually that you died? Like, you don't want to have that moment?
No, I don't want to have that moment where it's just like everything flashes and you're like, oh shit. Because chances are you're going to be pissed off about it, right? If you know you're going to die and you're all zapped in, like, dude, no.
But what if your soul wakes up and thinks that you are still alive, and then you have to do that whole thing?
You just described a Mumford & Sons song, and I'm not going to be here for that today, Jabes, or none of that nonsense.
But what if you like wake up and you're like, oh man, everything's weird, and you're like walking through, and then your hand is going through walls and stuff, and you didn't know because you didn't have that moment of like, oh my God, I'm dead.
No, I don't want it. I don't want it. I want to go to sleep.
Okay.
Like, I had a dream 3 nights ago. Not to go full MLK on you, but I will. I had a dream 3 nights ago where if I had never woken up from that would be a nice way to go. Where it's just like, all right, cool, man. And then I'm into whatever afterworld I'm in. Right?
Okay.
So I keep hearing a clicking over there, and unless it is something important, Dan, put the fucking mic down. All right, you've lost your privilege the last 2 days with just nonsense and tomfoolery.
What's the clicking?
Let's hear it. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, do you want to be surrounded by loved ones before you die?
Oh.
No.
Probably
No, I
not,
don't.
right?
No, I don't.
It seems like an inconvenience.
I think this is Thanksgiving, and I would like you to not be mean to Dan or Giorgio today. And that is my one request. We're going to have a fun environment right now. So would you like to be surrounded? Just go with it.
I was waiting for the nonsense to click in where it was just like, did you guys both do drugs yesterday or the day before? Like,
what?
no.
Oh,
no.
me and Dan or them?
Them.
Okay.
Those two. Because I never know with those two.
Sure.
Those two dirtbags, whether they're sharing drugs or whatever. Or
And
it could be
that's the
just Giorgio.
beauty of it. That's the
Giorgio's
beauty of
holding
it.
up an empty bag of something. Yes, so he's all in. Dan, do you do drugs? Fake tan?
Yeah.
All right, cool. There we go. Yep. Yeah. There we go. Because there's some moments on Drinkin Bros where I'll look at Dan and be like, "Hey, man, what you just said is high talk."
Right.
And he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "You're too hot. Like that doesn't make sense to anyone right now."
Sure.
He doesn't do drugs at work, though.
Who?
Oh,
Dan,
love
only
that.
me.
Love that.
So that's sober Dan telling you those ridiculous things.
Oh, him.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, now
Yeah,
that
yeah,
makes sense.
All right. No, but I don't want to be surrounded by loved ones. I don't want to put them through it either. I don't, for real. Like, where it's just like, oh, I wish I could have gotten the chance to say goodbye or whatever. Chances are you're out. You know, if you're up and talking, you're not going to just die like the next day. I don't think you get to pick it, you know, where it's like, hey,
No.
man. Because like cancer, the weird thing is like we're Alex Trebek, right?
Right.
And they were like, oh, he was surrounded by friends and family, and there was like a picture of him from like the day before where he was up taking pictures with people, and
I
you're
know.
like, what the fuck? How did you know you were gonna die the next day? Like
That one's a weird one because he spent his last day like on the swing with his wife and surrounded by people. So like, did he just get that dose? Do you know what I mean? Did he get the morphine dose?
no,
It's like,
because the coroner would report it.
but how do you know,
I know.
that that's your last day?
That's the thing is like nobody really does. So, you know, maybe you can get juiced up enough to live through that day where you're like, all right, cool, let's just do this and this and this, and then that's it.
Because if
But,
he's on those pain meds anyways, I don't think that they would report that it's a higher
dosage.
I'm just saying.
Right.
I'm just saying, if you're rich, I think you can probably choose.
Here's
when
the
to
thing.
die.
It would be great, right? If you could do it like that and go out and have a nice swing in the yard and all of the things, like, yeah, it would be rad. I'd like to die on the fucking trampoline in the backyard then, looking up at the sky, you know, with the kids and everybody on the trampoline. That would be rad, right? But I don't think you get to choose that unless you're super rich.
Super rich, or if you
die of the right cancer, you know?
right, or if you live in Oregon, I guess.
Yeah. Because look, Trebek was 80. Like, and as sad as that was, like he's 80 years old.
Yeah.
You know, the average age for expectancy for a male is 78 years old. He passed that by 2 years.
Yeah.
So, you know, Maradona, like, gone too soon. No, he's 60.
Well,
60.
60's quite young, isn't it?
It is, but it depends on how much coke you've been doing. So, like, there should be a different year for that where it's just like,
it's Coke years.
yes, drug years, where it's just like, hey, man, if you were doing coke and hard alcohol every day, because hard alcohol is another one where it's just like, that is just too fucking harsh on your system.
It just really is.
Yes. Like for us, shit, it's like a neighborhood function or something for hard alcohol. I was like, we'll have seltzers on Drinkin Bros sports or Drinkin Bros or whatever. But those are like water at that point. You know, there's no carbs, sugars. There's nothing in there.
Are they water at that point,
Well,
Ross?
I'll tell you why. Here's the deal with seltzers, right? Because you get to that age, and we've talked about this before a little bit, but you get to an age like anywhere past like 33, which is what I am, 32, 33. We still don't know, and the doctors don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they're like, we know that you're this age, but you are really biologically.
Correct.
So they're kind of looking into whether your
Everyone
birth
is.
certificate was
Yes.
flubbed
Yep.
or something like this.
Yeah. So we don't really know what it is, right?
Yeah.
And but with that, you can't just drink craft beer all day and not be 500 pounds. You can't drink hard alcohol every day and do a show. Like you can't talk this much and do and be drinking hard liquor all day long. Like it's impossible.
Right.
Your voice would be shit and all of it. Like,
And people make fun of my alcohol alarm, right?
Right.
But it's the same concept. Like I can't, until I know my kids are close enough to bed that no one's breaking an arm, smashing a face, like
Yeah.
all these things that if you were drunk and you had to go to ER or something like this, you're done for. Your kids are being taken away. So I do it close enough to where it's like, okay, they're winding down. They're in the house. There's no...
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right. And because the other thing about you is I can't even name the last time you've had a hard alcohol. Like your drinking is like 2 glasses of wine, maybe.
Right.
Probably a glass, and then you leave a glass just sitting there.
But that's on a daily drinker. So if I'm like... hanging out, I'll have more than that.
Right, but it's usually wine. Like I can't remember the last time I've ever seen you have like a hard liquor, to be honest with you.
No, I've done my research in the field and I realized, and my conclusion was there's one thing that I can drink and still be a good person. Yeah. What is it? Reformed Dirtbag?
Yeah,
RDB?
Reform. Yeah. What were you drinking, boozing before that?
Hard alcohol?
Yeah.
All the things.
Oh, really?
All the things. Like I said, I've done my research. I started with SoCo. That was my first thing that I got. Everyone has their first thing. Yours is gross probably too. Your first alcohol you got wasted on.
Dipping back to I'd have to go back to high school.
Oh, you don't have that thing that like everyone has where if they get a whiff of a certain type of alcohol, it takes them back to...
It's different periods in my life for me. So like...
You guys have it.
Yeah. No. I know what you're saying. But for mine, it's different periods where it was just like... It was SoCo in high school. Like senior year, when you smell that, you're like, ugh, gross. And then mine was Jaeger. So if I smell Jaeger anywhere, college. Oof. And I was just like, gross. Like I to this day, if somebody brings me a shot of Jaeger, I'm just like... Man, fuck you, dude.
Grow up, right?
Yeah.
What are you being for Halloween? Is that what you asked? What are you going as for Halloween? Because you're a baby.
Yeah.
You're a child. So started with SoCo, and then I like went through a kind of all girls kind of do this at some point. Not all, but most that are cool. They go through a phase of like, I drink scotch, right? Or like, I drink whiskey on the rocks because I'm cool and I'm hanging with the guys and I'm one up with the guys, right?
Yeah.
And so you realize that doesn't work. Like you aren't hanging with the guys. You are a ridiculous person very quickly.
Yeah.
Then there was like a straight tequila phase. So all of these, I've like done my research. I've given them long enough time to really get all the data points that I need to realize that I can only drink wine.
Yeah, and that's appropriate. I think.
I think it's appropriate.
That's definitely appropriate. Yeah, and even on the weekends, like if I'm gonna go to a neighborhood function or whatever, and everybody, you kind of just bring one of those Yetis, so it stays cold. So wherever you go, the ice is still there.
Oh, you're rich.
Yeah, God bless that company, right?
Oh, you rich?
Oh, you rich? We've been very fortunate that people have sent them into the show. So the one that I have that I've
never bought a Yeti before.
Me neither. I don't care. Yeti's not a sponsor. Fuck them. They're too expensive anyways. I can't justifiably tell the audience to go out and buy go buy a cooler for Yeti. How much is it? $600.
Yeah.
Why is it different than an Igloo cooler?
If you don't have if you don't have a boat, you probably shouldn't have one.
Yeah. But with the with the Yeti thing, it's like, all right, great. You throw some vodka in there and some Killcliff CBD, and then you enjoy your night and then go home, right? But the days of like doing shots or drinking straight out of the bottle and all that stuff are nonsense.
Right.
Just absolute nonsense. Like unless you're ripping it, right? Kids are gone, babysitter or something, and you're like, all right, great, let's go yard for the weekend. But other than that, most dudes, it's seltzers now, and you're just like, sweets. What's that going to take? A fucking 30-pack to get me wasted?
Right.
Sweet, a full 30? Great. Maybe I'll feel a buzz off that. Yeah. Other than that, you're just, having a little taste, just to have a little taste, but that's it. The days of getting rocked are over, Jabes.
Yeah. It's so close, though. I feel like I could reach back and just touch it,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was so close.
Yeah.
It seems like yesterday.
But things have changed so much so that it's like in our lives, like Hollywood-wise, they don't party like that anymore, man.
No.
We were talking about this right before we came on the show, Fake Dan. You can,
I have your permission.
Now that you're not,
yeah, I know.
Now
Dan,
that we know you're
don't
not
let him
high,
fucking give you shit today.
Now that we know you're not high, you can chat today.
Okay.
We were talking about this right before we went on the air, about how you're able to handle yourself. We were talking about Maradona and those guys, and that was the time, like his era when you could get away with that shit was amazing because there was no camera phones, there was no nothing around.
He was the biggest athlete in the world.
Yes, and you could get fucking smashed, and people would cover it up for you, where it's just like, all right, cool, man.
Right, like we think we know celebrity in America, but
No idea.
no chance.
No.
In South America, Argentina, just being that guy, he was God. Yeah.
God. But you could also get away with it back then. And that's the way I feel about what I was saying about the time that we were in Hollywood, where before camera phones and all that shit, like, dude, you could get rocked and there was no repercussions for it, where you didn't have to worry about getting fucking Me Too'd or
Also, there was different
camera
categories,
phones or
right?
all that other shit.
There was different categories. So there's like, remember the Bret Easton Ellis, Robert Downey Jr. days of like that Rat Pack kind of thing?
Yeah.
They were in that world where you kind of knew they do drugs, they stay out late, but they're young and they're good at their job, whatever. Then there's like the people that would get up drunk at award shows, and they were just like in that category. They still got work. Everyone just kind of like, well, they got rocked. Mickey Rourke, things like this. And you're like, Jack Nicholson, I don't know. But where you're just like, that's the category. And then there's the goody two shoes, whatever. But they were allowed to be in those categories.
Yeah.
And got work based on that. Or were invited out or whatever it was based on that. Not, you're canceled, right? If someone got up at an award show now and was as wasted as the last time I can remember Mickey Rourke getting up at a Golden Globes. Rocked. Like that just wouldn't fly anymore.
No, and I can say this. Now that this is recorded, I don't like to tip big guests until they're actually recorded, where it's like in case they bail, you know, and I'm like, then I look like an asshole.
I wouldn't do it.
No, not the one you're thinking of.
Okay.
So the one we recorded yesterday. So dude, we on Drinkin Bros, this will air next week. We were able to sit down and record with a childhood hero of mine, Jim McMahon, the quarterback for the '85 Bears, legend, all of that. But
Pimp.
Yeah, Pimp. He was also in one of my favorite sports movies of all time, Johnny Be Good. And so I asked him I was like, hey man, that was Robert Downey Jr. and Anthony Michael Hall back in the day, bro. Ooh. And I go, what was that shoot like with old school RDJ? You know?
Right.
And he goes, what do you think it was like?
Exactly what you want it to be. Exactly what you want it to be.
Yes. And so, dude, he was like all of the things. It was great. But you could get away with that. It was in the 80s. And you were like, all right, sweet, we're doing this. And nobody cared. And even with Jim McMahon, like, dude, that guy just played his ass off and fucked shit up.
Sure.
And you did that, and it was like, all right, cool. We're not going to bitch about whatever's going on. Like, whatever happens here at this point. So he will be on the show next week. But, man, I asked him. Yeah, somebody was asking. Reed White was saying, hey, maybe he'll do the Super Bowl shuffle. I asked him about the Super Bowl shuffle. It's a really, really funny story. It is not at all what you thought it was. And I know that was the big thing. Whenever you see those highlight reels of the 80s, it's usually Ghostbusters, Super Bowl Shuffle with the Bears, and, you know, E.T. and all like the fun things, Max Headroom and all that stuff. So I got to sit and ask him about it, and it's a really, really funny answer. So watch Drinkin Bros next week, because it was not at all what I was expecting. I was like, oh, shit, for real? So it was dope. But those are the days, man, and now these aren't the days. You know, and especially with COVID and all this bullshit. Like, dude, bars are closed at 10 o'clock. Thanksgiving. Yesterday we talked about it. Pennsylvania's closed. Can't buy alcohol. Like, what the fuck are we can't do anything anymore. So it's like, all right, sweet, man. Those days are gone. And with COVID, drug dealers are out. So even if you have to be Maradona to have a guy on speed dial like that. Like, drug dealers are out, brother. They've been out since March. They don't, you know.
I know.
They're not subscribing to your bullshit. And the people that are trapped for Thanksgiving, they're just like, hey, man, it's either drugs or drinking. So I have a feeling this year, though, people will tip it the other way.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this year, Thanksgiving, you're going to see a lot more arguments, a lot more heavy drinking than you didn't used to see. Because this is some people are escaping their house for the first time, where it's just like, all right, great.
Yeah.
Some people hadn't left their state. They haven't left their city. Now they're going to go see their family. Something's going to get triggered over the holidays where it's just like, fuck you.
I would argue, actually, that the people that are going to be celebrating with people are people that have been out already, like us. Because if not, if you really haven't seen anybody this whole time, Thanksgiving is not when you're going to go. Do you know what I mean? So I think the only people that are actually hanging out with people are the ones that already have been.
I don't know, man. I think Thanksgiving is one of those traditions that is still left where your family gets together and it's just like, all right, everybody makes a concerted effort to try to get together at least, right? Where they're just like, all right,
but that's something
let's
where
try it. We're all going to do it. And it's, one of
that's
those
something
things.
where old people are usually involved.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas like New Year's, Halloween.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at
old people don't have to be involved with that.
No, I'm looking at the message board here. Like people are already drinking right now.
Well, I mean, you can't judge everything on the Nooners. This is a different type of group. It's Robert Downey Jr., Mickey Rourke, and the Nooners, okay? They're in a category all on their own.
Richard Danoff is saying change the thumbnail. I don't know what the thumbnail is, but it's
it's
probably just Tetherball, right?
Yeah, it's just
For the
Tetherball.
company. Usually doesn't post until after we do the show. But everybody's drinking, and good on you, man. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to take some of that screwball this afternoon, by the way.
Yeah, do it. This is a great holiday buy.
Great booze. Great
booze. Great conversation starter. Very warming.
That's
At
great.
the same time, even when it's free, like if you put it in the freezer, it's still very warming, autumnal. It's perfect.
I got one more show today with some old school homies that we like from SEAL Team. CBS SEAL Team are stopping by today. I think they might be on Zoom, which if they are, I'm going to rage on them. But they're doing we're going to go live this afternoon for Drinkin Bros as well. I might have a sipper with those boys. They're in Texas. And yeah, it's AJ Buckley and fuck. I know another co-star's coming on, but I forget which one.
Okay.
That's all I know.
Fun little surprise guest.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, all those guys are friends in real life, so it's like,
yeah.
You never know. Where you're just like, all right, sweet. Is it Tyler? Is it Tyler Gray? Is it Boreanaz? Who knows? They're all friends in real life, so it's like, hey, come on the show. We have those guys on all the time, just because we're homies. It's just like, hey, they're like, we're home for Thanksgiving, drinking. Great, come on the show. You want to come on? Come on. We'll have you on this afternoon. So we're gonna go live with those guys today, whatever condition they're in and we're in. We'll find out. That's the beauty of it. I want to give a shout out early on. I don't know if we have a HelloFresh logo, but my God, man.
Oh, yes.
The meals just keep getting better and better and better from them. I don't
Yes.
know how they're doing that, to be honest with you. Like,
Well,
we eat HelloFresh like 5 times a week.
yeah.
Because you like to cook and it gets fresh ingredients and all that other stuff.
Right. I can take the thing with HelloFresh is you can take a little bit of credit for it, right? Because you do need to
Cook it.
cook it correctly,
Yeah.
have all the,
All of the things.
So when you were like, this is really good last night, so I did a rosemary demi-glazed pork chop with roasted vegetables and mashed potatoes. I mean, who am I?
Yes.
Who am I? I am the cook that I always wanted to be, right? Making gourmet shit like that. Demi-glaze?
And you don't have to go to the store. And like, I hate to keep harping on these guys, but geez, every fucking meal is amazing. Go to HelloFresh.com /Revolution90. Use the promo code Revolution90 when you check out. You get $90 off, including free shipping there. And they're not even on the books today. I just want to give them a shout, man. That food is incredible, man. And it's just every day. I know that I've talked about them for a while, and I'm like, all right, cool, man. But now we were able to get them as a sponsor, and I'm like, I am all in.
Yeah.
$90, you're basically trying it for free at that point. So go to HelloFresh.com /Revolution90 and use the promo code Revolution90 to get $90 off, including free shipping. Meals are the greatest goddamn things on the planet.
And what's cool is they do, like, if you get it for a family, like a 2 or a 4.
Yep.
You'll get the enough ingredients for 4, but they will give you the recipe to split it in half.
Yeah, dude.
So like I could do, if you liked that last night, like I can have the other portion that I saved, whatever. But it's just it's a great company.
Yeah, it's great. I wouldn't be surprised if we got sent some like gourmet chicken nuggies,
Ooh, that
hashtag Nug Life.
Nug Life.
I saw somebody talking about chicken nuggies in there, and I was like, yeah, man, it wouldn't shock me if they came out with some gourmet chicken nugget where it's like, all right, great. Because the ones that tore my face off, chicken nug wise, There was a company called Cluck You Chicken in college that was the greatest goddamn things of all time. It was the batter and the sauce. They had the hot wing sauce, and they had it dialed in, and it was masterful.
Sure.
Never had anything like it to this day. But then the Publix chicken nuggies, dude.
Right.
Reed Blanco, I believe, is down there at Publix in Florida. And I talked to him about that nug life, dude, where I was just like, hey, man, it is the best. Like, those are the best chicken nuggies on the planet.
Yeah.
And that road nug, I'll still pick up. We don't have a Publix here anymore, but when we're back in North Carolina and the Kakalaki, I'll still pick up a road nug for the ride home. Just one nugget. But it's long, It's a road nug is necessary.
Sure.
In my world,
Yeah, no. And I back it.
Yeah. Because I got a pickup truck, so I get the honey mustard, put that container right in the center console, and just dip and drive. You
know what Tiffany actually got? I don't know. It was from Amazon, but it's like a sauce holder that goes in your vent. And
Really?
It's literally like the size of Chick-fil-A.
Wow. That's a boss move.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's good. So I think I might pick up one of those. But
Who makes that?
I think it was Amazon. I don't know. I think it was an Amazon purchase, but
It's great.
so great.
Big fan of that.
Right. You maybe have to get different sizes. The public ones is a round.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure,
Chick-fil-A is what it is.
Yeah,
So
obviously. But yeah, big fan of them. And if HelloFresh comes out with nuggets, like gourmet nuggets, it's all over.
Well, they have a lot of, they changed their menu a lot. They have a lot of different options. They were doing a Thanksgiving thing. I think it's too late right now, but they would send you everything for a Thanksgiving feast, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Especially in these times.
Oh, and these
Towns.
It's times like these we'll learn to love again. Weird news day sports-wise, by the way. Nick Saban, COVID, out this weekend. Auburn, Alabama. That's the big one. That's the Iron Bowl.
Didn't that happen already?
Yes.
Am I? Okay.
No.
So we got it again?
It was a false positive, and now this one's a real positive. Boy, I'm sick of this shit. I am just so fucking sick of all of this bullshit with the COVID, man. Like,
we know you are. Alyssa Milano should hit him up and find out how he finally got that positive test.
is it weird that it would be great if she died on Thanksgiving? Alyssa Milano of COVID, she wants to, and here's the thing. I'm not wishing Alyssa Milano to die.
Okay.
I'm not wishing for her to be killed.
Okay.
If she were to die on Thanksgiving of COVID, I think that would be her wish, though.
Sure.
It's real, everybody. Just write on Instagram Live, and we can do all of the things, where it's just like,
Right.
all right, great, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if it does, there is usually every year, though, a celebrity that dies on Thanksgiving and one that dies on Christmas. So keep an eye open. I don't know
That's right.
I don't know why that is,
Oof.
but it happens every single year, and we'll see. I'm hopeful this year.
I hope
that
it's not Martin Short. Oh my God, I would cry so much, huh? I would cry. I'd be watching Clifford on a loop.
Yeah.
Oh, just crying.
Oof.
Then Captain Ron. Sorry, double feature of Clifford and Captain Ron. And then Father of the Blah. Oh my God. Maza and Dada pregnant to Gaza?
Yeah.
Come on.
No. I could never do.
That's my Belushi. Like Martin Short to me, right, is the
John
equivalent.
Belushi?
Yeah, equivalent of you loving Belushi. Like the way that I'm like, what?
Yeah.
That's the same.
He's the fucking worst. Every time I see Captain Ron, all I think is like, yeah, dude, why didn't the wife fuck Captain Ron? Like, it didn't make any sense to me. Martin Short.
Just the stumbling, falling all the time.
Yeah.
On the boat.
Yeah, and every time Captain Ron, a.k.a. Kurt Russell, would get close to the wife, I was like, well, of course, she should just be fucking Captain Ron at this point. Like, what?
Yeah, if Captain Ron shows interest.
Yeah, and he clearly did.
You risk it all. Yeah.
clearly did.
He clearly did.
Yeah, so what the fuck? What are we doing with that?
Right.
Like, every time I see that movie, I think the same thing of like, oh, well, why wasn't Captain Ron balling out the mom the whole time? Like, I don't understand.
Hard-hitting stuff today, you guys, on this.
No, these are things you need to know. Is there a Thanksgiving movie, by the way? There is plenty of Christmas movies. Is there a Thanksgiving movie?
Yes.
What is it?
Home for the Holidays.
Oh, God damn it. Are you fucking serious?
Or The Family Stone.
You love Home for the Holidays.
Love it.
That's one of your favorite movies.
That's Robert Downey Jr. We have a theme.
Yeah.
I think we have a theme today.
Yeah.
I hope that he doesn't die. I don't know why we're talking about him so much.
He's fine. He's sober.
He's fine. He's sober. He's skinny.
He's too rich, yeah. He's too rich to die.
Too rich, yeah. Too boring,
Maradona had some tax issues, so it was like, like him dying and then the coke and everything else.
Yeah.
Like,
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, that's a good one, too.
Oh, is that a Thanksgiving movie?
Yeah.
Right. I'm in for that. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen it in many, many years. They're remaking it right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. They're also remaking Home Alone. And, that's a Christmas movie, but they're remaking that as well.
I think they're remaking it with Macaulay Culkin, though.
Really?
Yeah, and they're just going to make no mention about him and his age or whatever. They're just going to do it the exact same.
That'd be my dream.
I think he joked about that, didn't he?
It'd be great.
Yeah.
It'd
He
be
tweeted
great.
that, I think.
They asked the director, the original director of it, they were like, hey, what'd you think about the Home Alone remake? And he goes, stupid.
Sure.
Remaking it. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Right.
What are you doing with that?
What are you doing with that?
Yeah, but I can't think of like a really like hard-hitting Thanksgiving movie where you're like, oh, that's a banger, dude, that I'm gonna watch.
Is there a Charlie Brown? Probably.
Well, so hey, did you hear about Charlie Brown? This is a fucking weird story. The Charlie Brown shit, because of Thanksgiving and the feathers and the Indians and whatever Snoopy was wearing. This is a real story. They had to fucking move it off to PBS. So they initially had taken it off the air, and now I guess PBS has it, and they're gonna air the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving now, but you can't air it on real television because I guess people are dressed up like Indians. The white cartoon characters of Charlie Brown now are. So we're canceling Charlie Brown now as well, and that's where we're at as a society.
Pocahontas? Maybe you watch Pocahontas, throw it on.
Apocalypto.
Yeah, so it goes Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and then Home for the Holidays. If you're actually looking at the list of like the
do they have a top 10?
They have a 34, top 34.
Yeah, I put it into Google, and The Blind Side came out.
I know.
Oof.
I don't know why
Really?
that's a Thanksgiving movie.
Was that when they adopted him?
Maybe.
The Oath is
Funny
number
People?
one, and
The
I think they
Oath.
paid for that to be that. But that's the only one where they actually address Thanksgiving, where they're fighting over politics and stuff, and it's a black girl and a white guy or whatever.
Yeesh. Click the link. Let's see the top 34 there for
The
Thanksgiving.
Big Chill.
I haven't seen The Big Chill in years. I don't
Is
remember.
that a Thanksgiving movie?
Kay Costner dies at the beginning of it, but what do we got there at one? The Oath.
These are
Gross.
not at
Chicken
all.
Run.
Chicken Run?
No.
These are not at all what I.
The
at
Big
all.
Chill.
This
Yeah,
is
these
not the
are-
right
no,
list, you guys.
No.
You've Got Mail. I'm into it. August, Osage County. Yeah, if you want to kill yourself on Thanksgiving.
Oof.
Sweet November. I'll take that every day of the week.
We saw, speaking of
Canal.
killing yourself to movies, we saw a trailer last night for the new movie that came out for Netflix. That'll make you want to kill yourself over the holidays.
Were you not interested in any
The
way?
Hillbilly Elegy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to watch it.
Okay, yeah.
For sure. But just because out of boredom and we have nothing else.
Right.
But yeah, man, Jesus Christ. When you watch that, you're like, oh, sweet. I'm definitely going to hang myself after this is over.
Sure.
And Homegirl was doing all the rounds this morning. Not on your show, by the way.
No.
We're all done with the Today Show. Can you leave that with me? Can you leave that one behind? We're good?
No, I watch that in the bathroom when I'm getting ready.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay, because the other ones have actual like celebrity guests and it's fun. They're just not talking about COVID all goddamn day. So Homegirl was on this morning. Red hair. The fuck's her name? Amy Adams. She's
Amy
such
Adams.
a goddamn snooze to me that I forget her name every single time. All of them are, to be honest with you. The Chastain, the Bryce Dallas Howard, all that other shit. So Ron Howard directed this movie. The thing, and she's super serious, as she's doing the interview and the whole thing. I will say this, she's like 50 years old, right?
Yeah,
She's close to 50.
I think she is. She's older than you think she is.
Amy Adams, yeah. I think Amy Adams is right around that 50 mark, maybe 48, somewhere in there. Where did Giorgio go? Did you just-
She's 46. Giorgio went to help build the set.
She's 46. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're building a new set for Drinkin Bros Sports. That'll kick off next week. And then the breaking news: the Thursday night game. Fucking A, man. This Ravens Steelers moved to Sunday, so will not be on Thanksgiving night. Thanks, China. Just wrecking our Thanksgivings. But yeah, Amy Adams is 46, and she still looks the same. Like, she still looks the same age in this interview this morning. So when I was watching her, even on Zoom, because people look shitty on Zoom, right? Even on Zoom, she looked great. And I was just like, all right, cool, man. But she was super serious about the thing. And I'm like, great, we get it. We're going to watch a super serious movie over the holidays, and we're all going to die.
She was born in Italy? That's weird.
Was she really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're known for their redheads over there and pasty white skin. Italy's always been known for that.
Oh, yes.
Everybody knows that.
Everyone knows that.
But yeah, that was the thing. And then, I'd tell you what, we'll just kind of mix in the sponsors. We'll just keep going. Fuck it.
Sounds good.
Ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros. Black Friday sale is here. 30% off the entire store for everyone across the board, Jabes. Everyone out there across the board gets 30% off. Pillows, sheets, mattresses, adjustable bases. Doesn't matter what you do in this life right now. Everything is 30% off. You can bundle it all together with a 36-month pay-as-you-go program. No interest on that. There is no interest. So if you are stuck in one of these cities, man, where you're going to be in your house for a very long time, get a mattress, get comfortable, because you're going to be watching these death movies on Netflix with us, and we'll be chatting about them with you. Mm-hmm. I'll watch the Hillbilly Elegy this weekend and kill myself in the ghost bed for sure.
Yeah.
I'll be surrounded by loved ones too, because I'll be killing myself as I'm watching it.
And then you know that you died.
Yeah.
And then when you're walking around with your hand going through doors and stuff.
I already know that I died.
You already know. You're like, oh yeah, I remember.
I already did that, yeah.
I died, not like, am I alive?
Yeah. I want to get into the Chappelle thing, if you don't mind.
Please.
We chatted about it last night. It kind of happened, I would say, when we were getting off yesterday around 6, getting off of work. Not getting off in life. Yeah, that happens at night. No, when we were getting off work.
That happens at night.
It happens at night, yeah.
It's scheduled.
ASMR.
Ooh, we have a schedule. We put it on the calendar. No, just joking. No, we don't. We don't.
You and I don't give a shit where we're at, what we're doing. Sex is most important. Everybody else can fuck off. No, but
you're welcome, Ghostbed, for this read on Thanksgiving. Or Thoughtsgiving, for Giorgio here. He's got. I'm sure he's just gonna be scrolling through Tinder or Grindr, looking for thoughts. I can see him switching over. He's not on Grindr, dude.
Yes, he is. I can see him switching over to dudes. Fake Dan's laughing. Not. He can see it too.
No, he's not.
I get it. Yeah, he is. He switches over to dudes. It's fine.
Bro, no, he doesn't. That's fucked up.
He's not here to defend himself.
He's not here to
defend himself. I know, that's rude.
It doesn't matter. Either or. No, but what's with the Chappelle thing yesterday? Mm-hmm. Saw this thing where it was just like, hey, man, the Chappelle show has been taken off of Netflix. They originally sold it to Netflix, Comedy Central, and we didn't know why. Well, Dave Chappelle came out and dropped this thing last night that was like 18 minutes of why. And he claims that Comedy Central wasn't paying him enough money, and they were selling the show to streaming, and he wasn't getting money for it or enough money for it, and blah, 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 blah. And was like asking people to boycott watching it because I guess they sold it to Netflix and HBO Max at the same time. The reason being is he's got stand-up specials on both. Both of them own the rights, so they were trying to watch the show and then watch the movies, or watch the stand-up specials and all that other stuff and blah, blah, blah. If you watch it and they say that he's not going to, it's a crock of shit. It's bullshit. And he was saying, I don't know if it's because I'm black or whatever. Like, no. After the 2 years that he was on Comedy Central, and it was only 12 episodes apiece, I know that salary. I worked for Viacom. I got the exact same contract 2 years later than what he got. As a creator of the show, a producer, and a writer, and a star of it, they pay you fairly there. And they keep giving you bumps every couple of years, right? It's in your contract. Your salary keeps going up for all that shit, right? With Dave Chappelle, after the first 2 seasons, they offered him $50 million, 50, to do 2 more seasons. He quit after episode 3 and then didn't tell his wife crew, anybody that worked with him or Comedy Central, and just jumped on a one-way flight to Africa and did not tell anybody, and they didn't know where he was for like 2 weeks, right? It was $50 million. All he had to do was 24 episodes of television for $50 million. So you bitching that you're not getting money fucking 15 years later, or enough money in your opinion, that you should tell everybody to boycott that show and it's unfair and everything else. No, it wasn't. You fucking left. You were a goddamn quitter. Because somebody was laughing too hard on your own set about a joke that you wrote, allegedly, if you buy any of that shit. But no, dude, you're not a fucking hero. You're not an artist for doing that. Like, you fucking quit and broke a contract. And I guarantee you there was some language in that contract that said, hey, man, if you were to leave for any circumstance.
You can't just do so his main gripe, right, was owning his
masters,
name,
so to speak, in likeness.
Likeness in perpetuity throughout the universe forever, whatever.
For the Chappelle show specifically. So that makes sense, right? When a network buys a show, they don't want you to just leave and make it again with someone else. Right.
Like, when they're giving you money and making a show, they need to know that you are going to be there and they are going to make their money back, if not way more. They're investing in someone that isn't proof of concept yet. I mean, he wasn't Chappelle at that time. He was a stand-up, a really good one. And he'd been in Half Baked and he'd been in some stuff, but he's not the Chappelle that you know now.
And he wasn't, like, his specials, stand-up wise, weren't like, they weren't the great ones that were coming out like later on down the road.
Killing
right?
Them Softly.
I don't know. You're right.
Yeah, Killing Them Softly is the best.
Where he's wearing that blue button up,
Yeah.
right? Like, that was
I
amazing.
agree, but he still was not famous enough to command any amount of money or whatever. And Comedy Central took a shot on him. And the fact that they offered to pay him $50 million for 2 more seasons is absurd. That is the highest contract at the time in the history of television. To do 24 episodes of TV, you're essentially getting $2 million an episode for that. And then this crazy back end deal. And let's face it, if those were successful, like, then you get a bigger contract. The only other one that I can remember that was that large at that time was the South Park guys, Trey Stone and Matt Parker, or Trey Parker and Matt Stone. With their contract, I believe it was $100 million for 10 years. So they were getting, $10 million a year, but they were doing 22 or 24 episodes a year. So it was like, it's spaced out to $250 a show or $300,000 a show, whatever it is, right? With Chappelle, he was getting more than $2 million an episode. Like, fuck off. So 15 years later, now that everything's fine and you decided to come back to the world and rejoin society and do stand-up again, now you're, that was a slave contract. No, it wasn't. I'm white. I got the same fucking contract from Viacom, same as everybody else. It's a boilerplate contract that you get. Your lawyers can ask for different things, and look, with budgets that small, because that's what cable television is, they'll give you certain bumps for other things, like they'll let you direct, or you get money on the back end for creating it. Like, you're not on a network TV show, bro. So all of that bullshit, and everybody's saying he's so brave for doing this. Like, no, it's a shitty move.
It's the same way that I feel about Taylor Swift, right?
Yes.
So you take these contracts, you do what you're supposed, it goes through all the channels business-wise that it's supposed to. Yes, it's shitty, but you are where you are because of that first contract that you signed, and keep working and do your shit.
Right.
But what these people realize is that they have a larger following than people that are watching either the network or buying albums, right?
Right.
So they can mobilize their cult to do more harm than just, do you know what I mean? Than just dealing with it in the right avenues, or really admitting that you should have bought your masters back, or you had a choice, or really letting people know how this business works. Instead, they're being like, we are victims. We are,
Yeah. And the irony of this Dave Chappelle controversy that's going on right now is the Chappelle show made Dave Chappelle. I didn't like Half Baked that much, to be honest with you. Like, it just wasn't my jam. I enjoyed Killing Him Softly a lot, but look, he still wasn't Dave Chappelle. And if you don't do the Chappelle show, you don't get $20 million to do stand-up for Netflix. Right now, he did 3 stand-up specials. He got $20 million apiece. Made $60 million in the last year and a half off of 3 one-hour Netflix shows. Like, that's incredible. To my knowledge, that's the highest of all time, but only because of how successful the Chappelle show was back in the day. Like, somebody has to give you an opportunity. And it's the same way I feel about the Taylor Swift thing that you brought up. Like, they gave her an opportunity, and her deal, whatever deal that was where she can just re-record the songs and put them out into the world again, that's the best deal you can ever get. Like,
and her
what?
bullshit on the AMAs when they were like, she was like, I'm not there to accept the award because I'm at the same studio that I was at recording my songs again, and I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And you're just like, you little fuck.
Yeah.
Why don't you deal with things the way that you're supposed to?
Chappelle was also co-creator, so I wonder like what Neil Brennan's contract was at the time.
Well,
Sure.
So here's the deal.
That's
when you
true.
create a show and co-create it, because I've sold a co-creator show as well, right? You get all of those royalties and things like that. You have to split it with someone, obviously. But, dude, Neil Brennan was the head writer and helped him do that and all that shit. And like,
And he left them high and dry.
yes,
Yeah.
he left everyone high and dry.
Yeah.
He didn't even tell Neil Brennan that he was leaving to go to Africa.
Yeah,
And the
Neil
reason-
Brennan talks about recently how they just now kind of started talking again.
Yeah, I was there in New York when this happened. When he left his entire crew, I was staffing up for my MTV show. I hired every one of his crew members because they were out of jobs, and I was a huge fan of the Chappelle show. I was like, shit, yeah, all of you guys can work. Art department, wardrobe, all those I hired everyone there, so I got the full story of what actually went down. None of them knew he was taking off to go to Africa, and it was just like, all right, sweet. Not only did you walk away from $50 million, but then you just left everyone high and dry, all your crew, everything else, and now you're like, oh man, this is a slave contract. No, it's not. You were a fucking asshole. Just admit it and move on with your life. Not only that, you made $60 million at a minimum in the last year and a half, regardless of whatever you're making off of your stand-up around the world, because he was doing shows with Rogan and arenas and all this other shit. Like, Chappelle is fine financially. I don't know what the fuck he cares about it now. Or why, and it's like that he's not compensated fairly for his math. Somebody has to afford you that opportunity to do shit. It makes zero sense to me. When I saw that yesterday, and there was a bunch of stand-up comedians that I'm fans of who were like, yeah, this is fucking awesome. You're amazing. No, you're not. Like, we all have those contracts. All of us.
By the way, I would take that contract right now.
Yes, everyone would take that contract right now.
Just putting that on the table.
Just put it on the table. I just want to let you guys know, and I will never bitch about it.
Yeah.
Not Taylor
I'll do
Swift.
all 24 episodes, yeah.
Yeah.
You could pay me half that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
So fuck it. I'll say what.
And I understand
I'll say
that.
what it was. I'll say what the contract number was. Because
for what?
for Coke, because I literally did it with Viacom a year and a half later. Right. The contract is the same for creating, writing, producing, and forgive me if I'm wrong on that, but I believe he produced it as well. Right.
Yeah.
And starring in it for a brand new show and a brand new thing with that budget, because we had the same exact budget. You get 30 grand an episode, right? So if you're doing 12 episodes, you get $360,000, and then you get residuals for all of them showing and everything else, right? So 12 episodes for $360,000, like, pretty goddamn good deal when you're not that famous, right?
Mm-hmm.
To give your name a fucking boost, because Comedy Central at the time, like, shit, dude, people were watching Comedy Central. People gave a fuck about Comedy Central. Like, it was a dream. Either if you were a comedian, to get a show on Comedy Central, a special on Comedy Central, to be on SNL, it's kind of your options. Or you did a sitcom, right? But sitcoms were always hit and miss, where it was just like, for every Friends, there's a fucking Mike and Molly where you're like, oh, Christ, right? Nothing you can do about that.
Right.
But yeah, so dude, for that, and then you get bumps along the way. So every year you get like a 5% bump in your pay raise, and then God forbid, if you have a huge hit, then somebody comes in and offers you $50 million on top of that other money, you get fucked. Yeah, and just because you're making more money now, you can fucking bitch about it. It's like, no, it has nothing to do with the color of your skin or anything else. Like, you got paid the same as everybody did. And it was a great opportunity that you maximized. Like, but somebody had to believe in you, and that company was Comedy Central. So what the fuck?
It's just weird that his like story kind of changes, because I remember when he first came back and he was on Behind the Actors Studio.
Yeah.
And he was just talking about like, that's just too much money for me. Like, I don't want to live in that neighborhood.
Sure.
Now it's like, no, I just want that money.
Yeah. Now it's just like, they didn't pay me. Just so you guys know, so he was sort of saying something as well when he left, and he was basically saying like, they didn't give me that money. I didn't make that money. Well, you broke your contract. So And you left. So nothing was going to be given to you. And that's kind of how it works. He also talked about asking Netflix.
By the way,
it's called Unforgiven, so check it out somewhere.
Yeah,
we just
check
watched
it out.
on
It's
the
on his
phone.
I watched it
on his Instagram.
It's on his Instagram.
It's on a bunch of people's Instagram also that repost it for various reasons. But he was talking about calling up Netflix and asking them to take down the Chappelle show because it made him feel bad. Now, Netflix bought that. Like, Netflix paid money for the Chappelle show. Yes, they took it down because Chappelle has that power at Netflix right now. And I think fuck you for wielding that around. Not that Netflix is going to lose anything, but it's like they did pay for it. And basically that show right now is sitting in a garbage can at Netflix Studios that they paid for it. It's there.
Yeah.
They have a certain amount of time. They took it down because Chappelle was mad.
Yeah, and there's two comments here. One was Braden Waymans. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing that wrong. He says, shouldn't he get paid again for it being on HBO and Netflix now? Because as I understood, Comedy Central is getting the checks for its streaming now. Yes, so they own the property and they sell it. However, as a creator and a producer and all that stuff, you get a cut of whatever they sold that for. Is that deal that favorable? Probably not financially. And what I was telling you last night was because it is only 24 episodes, it's not your traditional like Friends or
syndication
The Office
type of situation.
Typically, you need like 100 episodes. That used to be the magic number, was 100. Mm-hmm. You're nowhere near it. So yes, the money is going to be really, really low because you don't have that many episodes.
Right,
so,
and it's almost like a residual and not like
correct
as much as the company gets. And look.
And residual wise, by the way, because of streaming, there was a shitty deal done by SAG and AFTRA that streaming wasn't factored in back in the day. So like they're trying to fight for it now and it's too late. So as an actor, you're going to get shitty residuals off of it. But again, that has nothing to do with Comedy Central. That has everything to do with Screen Actors Guild. Like you can blame them for that.
And you have to understand that when these networks take a chance on someone, for every Chappelle, there is a name anyone that they took a chance on that didn't work out, right? And they've put all that money into it.
Correct, yes.
So for every story that's like Chappelle,
there's a million
someone
failures.
Else lost them a shit ton of money. So
Correct.
It's like them taking a chance on you, putting all this money up front, giving you free reign to do whatever, cost them money. Look, I'm not in the business of being like feeling sorry for corporations, but people have to fucking make money, right?
And in this one, man, like
He's made his and they've made his.
I'll go to bat for what the system was, because there's a guy named GW here. Says, why is Ross all hurt for Comedy Central reaching for some? No, Comedy Central is essentially. I don't want to I think they're going out of business. They are done with live action shows after this year. So Comedy Central is not going to be a thing in 3 years. I can promise you that.
I mean, most cable networks right now.
Yeah,
right.
True.
Right. If you look back, we actually did a show 2 years ago, you and I, where I said my prediction was Viacom, because they owned all of it. They own MTV, Comedy Central, VH1, Nickelodeon, all that stuff, will eventually just become a Viacom app with all of these shows collectively and these back catalogs. But no, GW, they're only doing animation as of January 1st. Tosh. 0.0 just had his series ending finale, and he signed a 3-year deal. Now, they had to buy him out of that, obviously, but
he was on for a long time.
Long time.
Yeah.
And dude, his ratings were massive. The Daily Show ratings used to be massive. South Park's is still great, right? So they're only going to do animation from now on after January 1st. So no, I don't give a shit about Comedy Central. Like, to be honest with you, they were fucking dicks every time I met with them. And I like GW, I'll tell you the real fucking shit. Every time I went in there to pitch something, it was a fucking nightmare. They were the least funniest people who were running Comedy Central. Mm-hmm. So much so, in fact, I don't even know how they saw the genius in Dave Chappelle to put that on, because they were so fucking dumb. Mm-hmm. All of those executives at Comedy Central were fucking idiots. I can't even tell you how many meetings I had in there, and I was like, man, everything you're doing isn't funny. I think, here's my genuine opinion on it. I think it was the best managers and agents that Comedy Central didn't want to piss off. And those were the shows that they were buying versus talent. Like, I think they tripped into a lot of talent of these shows, to be honest with you. That's how fucking dumb Comedy Central was. So if you want me to go scorched earth on Comedy Central, absolutely. Every meeting I had there was walking people through jokes and things like that were just like, how do you have this job? And it was a lot of like women. And not to say that women aren't funny, but when a dude goes in and pitches a dude show there, like at Comedy Central, every time it would get shot down for like, well, I don't think that people would find that funny. And it was just like, well, this audience is for dudes. It's totally not for you. And that was kind of the jam over at Comedy Central. When you went in there and you were just like, oh, fuck. Every time you went in there, it was an uphill climb. You knew you weren't going to succeed. And then you had to have some fucking manager backdoor the system to get in. Whoever Chappelle's was did it. Yeah, man. And when they were saying, yeah, they were funny back in the day, they were funny back in the day because they used to take risk like in the 90s and shit. Like South Park was the 90s.
Yeah, like that like early 2000s, mid 2000s, where they had Tough Crowd. They had South Park,
Colin Quinn and all that other stuff.
Jon Stewart.
Yep. Dude, Jon Stewart on The Daily Show was amazing. Even before that, it was Craig Kilborn.
Right.
And Craigers was awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That's where I got the Craigers from. Craig Dulesky, by the way, was he used to call himself Craigers on.
Craigers.
Yeah, so that's how far back I watched The Daily Show.
Jon Stewart is coming back.
He's coming back, but to where? Is it HBO?
I think it's HBO.
I think he signed a huge deal with HBO. So
Yeah.
HBO's still doing live action shit. Comedy Central is done, man. All of these networks are these basic cable networks will be done within 3 years. So that, yeah, I have no problem talking shit against these guys. I don't give a fuck about that.
Apple TV.
Always going to Apple TV, man. Look, that's how fast the streaming market is changing. That
They're
it's just
trying.
like,
they're
all right.
really trying at Apple TV, right, to make it happen. It's never going to happen.
Not happening.
It's never going to happen.
No.
It's not going to happen. Neither is Amazon Prime. You know, trying to catch up to Netflix at this point. They just started so far in advance that it's just like, hey. And back to GW one more time for this one. The one I won't slam GW is Netflix. Because Netflix I could actually sell a show to.
Yeah.
And HBO. I cannot sell one to Comedy Central. Therefore, Comedy Central. I don't give a shit about Comedy Central.
Right.
So I'm gonna kiss ass. It's gonna be to HBO or Netflix.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be to Comedy Central anymore or MTV or any of those other assholes. But yeah. But that was kind of the deal. When I saw that, man, it made me angry. Where I was just like, don't spin this now. For whatever's going on in the culture and everything. Exactly what you said, because I find it so fucking interesting that yes, you build this huge audience and then you have these cult followers and you're able to do shit like this of like
Power is a powerful drug, right?
It is, yes.
Where
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
you don't even know you're on it until you've like done something like trying to mobilize a bunch of people during a pandemic to boycott Comedy Central. Give me a fucking break. He has so much power that he could mobilize these people for anything he wanted. And that's what he chose?
yeah,
That's what he chose? The cause
strange,
that he
yeah.
chose is so that people don't watch Comedy Central. Newsflash, they're not watching it anyways.
No, he was asking for them to not watch the Chappelle show at all. And it's
That's
just
what
like,
I'm saying.
hey,
On
man.
Comedy Central or HBO Max.
Right.
Like,
Or Netflix.
by
or,
the
yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Well, it's not on Netflix, right? It's not on Netflix
Well, they just
anymore.
pulled it as of last night. So it
Right.
was on there. And I don't know what the conversation was that he had. He talks about it in the thing. But
Right.
he called them and blah, blah, blah. And
Just sort of like choose your battles, choose your timing. I think right now, the way everyone's feeling.
It might have been negotiated for his next stand-up special for Netflix.
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, for what?
Absolutely.
Just like take it off. And,
Take it
like,
off.
You have rights
Yep.
to the next
Oh,
thing.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, by the way, like that's where all of his specials are going now anyways. So they need Dave Chappelle more than Dave Chappelle needs them, right? So that's the leverage that he has. Comedy Central, he doesn't, right? You're not doing specials for us. You're not doing anything. You left us high and dry. I'm going to sell your show.
Yeah.
And so we don't know. There's actual people involved in all of this, right? Actual people involved all across the board. We don't know who pissed off who. We don't know who was a dick. We don't know who's trying to get back at who or whatever. But exactly what you're saying, mobilizing people for things like this at a time like this is sort of like, Bro.
Yeah, you have a gajillion dollars at this point. Like, there is no need for it. But fuck them. It is what it is, man. You reach a point where I guess you're just blinded by all that other shit where it's just like, all right,
Look,
cool.
and by the way, we don't know who said what to who.
Yeah.
And you are famously like, you'll be like, fuck you, I'll fuck your shit up. And that's maybe what he's doing. And if that's what it is, somebody at Comedy Central, somebody whatever was a fucking total dick. And he was like, guess what? I'll fucking bury you. Yeah. And at a certain point, right, when you have been taken advantage or whatever, you just go, dude, this is the only thing I have.
You have a contract and all that shit. Like, even the Post Malone thing with the fucking beer pong show. Like, I was pissed about it for about 48 hours and I fucking moved on with my life. Like, everything else is fine in my life right now. Like, I don't need, to bitch about another thing that I don't have or something like that. Like, it's fine. You can take it and go fuck yourself. Like, I have a million ideas.
If the manager called you afterwards and was a fucking dick and was talking shit and was just being like, yeah, dude, I just fucking took it.
Yeah.
Would you not then be like, guess what, motherfucker? I've got da-da-da. I will. Like,
Yeah, there is something to be said about like all-time greats in their field just being super spiteful people.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
And you also need, look.
Jordan.
Yeah.
And I took that personal.
And I took that personally. But yeah,
Sure,
look,
it's no way to live though, man.
it's not a way to live, but you do need some form of motivation for things where it's just like, all right, what's the use to continue after you make X amount of dollars, right? So maybe it is one of the things, but I saw that video yesterday and I was like, you motherfucker. Like, that is not what happened at all. And every one of your fucking crew members worked on my shit. Like, I know the story. So
That's true.
It is what it is. I look, and the sad part about it is he's the very best there is. Dave Chappelle is the very best stand-up in the world.
He's the best there is.
Maybe of all time.
Maybe of all time. And really,
For real.
That even as much as you didn't like that Unforgiven thing, like to me, it was very well constructed, very well performed. In no time, I don't even know how long that took him.
Yeah, a day yesterday.
So it was just like,
he did it. Yeah.
It was done so well, and the story points and the book ends and everything. So he is the best.
Yes.
In his field,
100%.
He absolutely is.
Yeah.
But part of his, amazingness was his ability to just move forward, right? Like, Chappelle show, people calling him crazy. He would just move forward. He moved out to Ohio. He kept doing stand-up. He kept writing. He would workshop his stuff, like forward motion. Mm-hmm. And this to me feels like something that we aren't used to from him, which is backwards fucking bullshit. Like, you are the king of just putting your head down, living in your small town and making shit fucking work. Like,
not
right?
Not only that, but like Chappelle's show being on all of those networks streaming, it only is going to add more money to whatever stand-up shit you're doing. Like, is then the people who haven't seen it, there's a bunch of kids who haven't seen it. It's fucking 15 years old at this point. So it's out there. Once any show goes to Netflix, it gains a new life automatically. Where you're just like, oh shit, a bunch of kids haven't seen that. Like, would have helped. You would have gotten more money for your next shit. It's just free publicity. Franco Melendez has got a great question here. And he says, I wonder if Ross is going to play the new Post Malone album when it drops. Yes, I will. I am able to separate the artist from the person, whether or not you're a fucking asshole and all that other shit. And I'll tell you if it's great or if it's not. For real. I have zero problem with that. And that doesn't influence. I've been fucked over by a lot of people, so it doesn't really matter. Like...
And also, we know that there are so many people surrounding all of these people.
Yes, that it could be just his manager. From
Comedy Central to Chappelle.
Could be Post Malone's manager.
There's any number of things. Like, you're not just one person by yourself doing anything.
Correct.
Right? So...
Post Malone could have been writing the new fucking album, and it could have been his manager who just ripped the idea. That's who I was dealing with. So, who knows? Fuck, man. It could be just his manager. That's everyone else's guess that I've talked to, and we'll see. So yeah, I'll listen to that album and I'll tell you if it's great or if it's not. It was weird though on the way to work because our kid's out of school. He's off for the week of Thanksgiving. Mm. One of them is. Ironically, the 6-year-old is off, but the 2-year-old is able to go to school, which is what?
I'll talk about that in a second.
Is he not off?
No, he's
okay. But on the drive in, he was like, "Hey, Dad, can we listen to Congratulations?" Because Apple has got a cool thing where they've got different versions where it takes out the curse words and shit. So I'm able to play Post Malone and things like that for him.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Yeah, cool. I'll put that on." But I will say this: the first 10 seconds, I was like, "Oh, that motherfucker!"
Yeah,
man. I did think about it for a minute,
Yeah.
and then I was like, "Fuck him."
We know what you don't say motherfucker to.
What's that?
Manscaped.
I don't.
Right?
Yes, I don't say.
You'll listen to the Post Malone album.
Yeah.
You'll tell us how it is.
Yep.
You'll shave up the old jingle bells.
Yeah.
This is a holiday ad, so
Is it really?
get you on down to shining up your jingle bells. It doesn't say that, but Manscaped is a cool company, and they have a sense of humor, so you can literally talk about your balls in any holiday fashion, right?
Yeah.
Stuffing.
Go ahead and put your dick and balls in that turkey. When no one's looking, you want to
But
give
you
it a
also
thing.
don't want anyone to find out, so you don't want hair on there, right?
And
So
it-
shorn.
And if you
dip.
if you ejaculate inside the turkey, no one's gonna know.
No one's going to know. Salty.
No. So it will be a little salty, but let's face it, turkey tastes like shit anyways. It's boring. It probably needs a little semen in it, to be honest with you.
Sure.
Hard-hitting stuff on Thanksgiving is what we're giving you. And
Really.
Manscaped is giving you a deal with the Weed Whacker. That's the nose trimmer. It's electric. All their shit is electric. Best in the biz. And then the fucking pube and ball trimmers. The very best there is. Go to manscaped.com, promo code REVOLUTION, 20% off and free shipping. You've got the bag there.
I do.
hold
And
up the
so
bag.
they're doing like a holiday box special that will be
Yes.
the Weed Whacker and the lawnmower.
That dock
This thing
kit's the
is
best.
really nice. Like, this is not a joke. It's not cheap. It's not faux.
No.
It's suede
Yeah,
with
dude.
leather. Looks cool. Do you know what I mean?
There it
Like,
is.
Can
Look
you
at that.
even?
Boom. Yeah, you can hear
So
it.
quiet.
You can hear it. There you go.
But not really. Like, if this was in a bathroom,
Yeah.
you would like not be able to hear.
Ooh.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, look at that.
So no one's like, oh, shaving your balls again.
I know. We're not on your single there. I think we had a battery go down.
Oh, that's okay.
Was it plugged in? It's not plugged in. There it is. There's your culprit. You always
Look, it's
you plug in the
Thanksgiving.
batteries.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's Thanksgiving.
People are ready to
Things
get out the
are-
door. People are ready to get out the door and celebrate with their
You know what I
family and loved
mean?
ones. I understand it.
Stuff is gonna happen.
Battery's out in James' camera, but
Should I just go over there and?
yeah, come on over. Come on over. Why not? It's the holidays. Who cares? Who cares?
See, like you can't hear it here.
No, come on in.
Right?
Yeah, can't hear it here. Can't hear it here. Bring it in. Bring it in.
Oh, somebody.
Yeah, look at that.
Balls, but only if it's like right next to you. Do you know what I mean? Look at how cool that looks too. So
You can
anyways,
take the
they're
logo
doing-
down. But yeah, let's boom. Shaving balls, not shaving balls. Shaving balls,
So they're
not
doing a
shaving balls.
holiday thing and it's gonna
People
say,
are
like,
asking for you to sit on my lap. Go ahead, bring her on in. Bring her on in.
Yes,
There
this
it
is
is.
what all the girls do, huh?
I'm glad I check in at the right time.
Thanksgiving.
You what?
I'm glad I come back and check in at the right time.
I know.
Exactly.
This is very Alex Jonesy.
Jesus, isn't it?
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thonks.
Yeah, we give thonks.
Side is so much better.
What?
Yeah.
No, you look
like,
great.
look how good I look on this side.
I think we should just switch sets.
We should just switch.
We
He
should.
Would never.
I
He
have
would
to
never.
run again,
Every
though.
side I'm on, he's like, oh, I'll take that side.
I'll switch if you want me to go to the other side. I'm fine with it. I'll solve all those murders on your side, on the murder board. Yeah. Somebody, Ruben Schneider said, and this is how child number 3 became. Yeah. Just right on the show, live conception. I'm into it. YouTube would probably flag us. Would they? I don't know. They've already nuked it enough, so who knows? But the audio listeners, if you're out there, subscribe to Ross Patterson Revolution on YouTube. You can see how a baby gets made. Oh, God. Yeah. What, Jabes? It's a Thanksgiving baby. Is what we're making. Thanksgiving baby. Yeah. This is the baby that we give thanks for. Jabes, why don't you sign out over here?
Oh, are we done?
Yeah, we're out of here.
Oh my gosh.
We're out of here. Sign
Oh,
off.
crazy.
Sign off.
Make sure to go to iTunes and rate the show a 5-star and give a good review about me only, and I will send you ball trimmers.
That's not true. That's not true.
We have it. Who's that for? It's for somebody. What? It's for no, I'm just joking. But do that.
Someone at the office has used it. We're not going to give you a used ball trimmer. You know what I'm saying? Rihanna just said, "Happy Thanksgiving, peeps. Be best."
Thunks. I like how you spelled it. Thunks.
No, it's thonks.
Oh,
She
thonk.
spelled it
Like
correctly,
honks.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
honk.
Let's sign us off here, Japes.
For Jables, Jessie Wiseman, this is the Jessie Wiseman Revolution. Thank you for listening, and happy Thanksgiving. Be best. Who gives a fuck about Thanksgiving?